guys, welcome back. Today I am doing my February favorites. February was an amazing month. I'm sure all of you guys know and are probably sick of hearing about it, but we went on a vacation this month. We went to the Everglades in Florida. We also did a Caribbean cruise, and then we did Disney World as well. So it was a very busy month, very busy 2 weeks that trip took place in. And then we missed our flight home to top it all off, so I feel like I am still recovering from like a crazy 2 weeks, but it was incredible. I also did do like an Ulta and Walgreens haul for all the beauty products I picked up in the States, so that'll be linked down below in case you missed it. And also I'm going to be doing a fun little like Disney World haul right away. I'm planning on filming that as soon as I'm done filming this video. So yeah, the trip was of course my top favorite. If you guys want to go check out my Instagram, I did post some pictures. I'm at SariReanna on there. But let's go ahead and jump into the beauty favorites because I actually have quite a bit of products to talk about this month. The first product I have to talk about is something I've talked about many times before on my channel, but it's been a while since I've expressed my love for it, and that is the IT Cosmetics CC Cream. I did try this out initially before starting Accutane, like my first impressions was before that, but then I really only have used it while being on Accutane. So I was kind of like, how much do I really like this when my skin is oily? So I packed this, all I used on the cruise, and it's all I use when I'm like flying and everything like that. And I have to say, I still absolutely love this product. It is just the most natural complexion product ever, but it still gives you such good coverage. Like I still feel fully like confident in it. It really still covers up my hyperpigmentation. It's got such a beautiful glow. You get that SPF 50, so it is perfect for traveling, and it just holds up really nicely. It just looks so good on my skin. Like even when I was flying, I don't powder my face really when I'm going to be flying, and at the end of the day my face was shiny, but it hadn't separated at all. There was no gross melty areas. It was still all perfectly intact, but I was just like really shiny. I do order mine on Beautylish for all my Canadian friends who are curious, and I'll of course have it linked down below. I always link all the products down below that I talk about. I also have a foundation to talk about because this is pretty much all I've been using since I've been home. Main reason is because it's one of the only foundations I own that's dark enough to match me currently. I feel like in this new filming setup you can actually tell that I'm slightly tan right now instead of just looking super washed out and pale. But this is the Dior Airflash. I have this in shade 301, which is definitely way too dark for me regularly, but I've been using this, like I said, since I got home from the trip. I just shake it up, spray it on a flat top foundation brush, and just kind of lightly buff it into my skin. It's so fast to apply, which I love. It really doesn't take any effort at all, and it just really perfects my skin. And I remember that trying it out in my first impressions too. It's really great for pores and texture and just making your skin look very smooth, and I feel like it is better for oilier skin than dry skin, like when I initially tested it, because it does feel a little bit drying. I remember when I tested this out that it left my skin quite dry and tight feeling at the end of the day because I was on Accutane. Now that I'm not, this feels like perfectly fine on my skin, and it holds up really well too. It doesn't give me quite as much coverage as my Tarte Rainforest of the Sea, but it's still like perfectly fine. Definitely gives me enough coverage. It's just more of like a medium coverage, I would say. I have to say, now that I'm trying this again, I'm definitely considering buying it in a lighter shade for when my tan fades. Next favorite is actually something that was in my January BOXYCHARM, and this is the Pure Chateau Cheek Stain in the shade Peach Bellini. I have fallen in love with this, you guys, and I've seen a lot of people in their BOXYCHARM unboxings that were kind of like, they didn't really know how to apply it because it is like a stick blush. And like the name says, it does also stain too, so once it's on, it's on. It's not going anywhere, so I understand that some people are a little bit afraid. So how I apply this, or any other like cream or liquid blush for that matter, is I take a duo fiber stippling brush and I basically just kind of like coat the end of the hairs really lightly. I just go over it and then I stipple it onto my cheeks. It's like a completely foolproof application. It never looks like too splotchy or harsh or anything like that. And even if you do go a little bit overboard, you can take your beauty blender or whatever you use to apply your foundation and just kind of dab over top of it and soften it up a little bit, since it is a cream. So it's really easy to work with when you know what you're doing. Once again, I wore this the entire trip. I thought I was only going to be wearing it on the cruise, but then when we got to Disney World, I used just like a regular powder blush on the first day, but I found my blush did not hold up at all because we were spending like 13 hours in the parks every day. So my blush and my cheek products were really fading very quickly. So the second day I was like, I'm just gonna try this again and see. And it held up so well. It is so long wearing. I'm actually wearing this today. I did set it with a little bit of my favorite BECCA Tigerlily just to give it that extra oomph, but I love this. I am not usually a huge cream blush person, but this is converting me. I think I'm actually going to pick up all the other shades in it, to be honest. Next up, I have got a bronzer. This is another kind of old favorite. I've definitely mentioned it in a favorites video before, but I dug it out again this month because it had been a while since I used it, and that is a Too Faced Sweethearts Sweet Tea Bronzer. I was second guessing myself there for a second. I was like, is that what it's called? But yes, that was right. This bronzer looks a little bit intimidating because it's very glowy. It's not shimmery or glittery at all, but like looking at it, it's got a definite sheen to it. But when this is applied, it is so beautiful. And I mentioned in a video that I use this when I'm more tan and I'm trying to kind of make my face match my body a little bit better, because most of my foundations are on the lighter side and my concealer especially. So what I do after I've applied my regular matte bronzer to the edges of my face, I take this on a fluffy brush and dust it all over the center of my face, under my eyes, my nose, my chin. That is what I've done today, and it just makes me look super tan and glowy, but still very natural because it's like the perfect neutral kind of tone. I think you guys will be able to tell there's no orange, there's no red. It's a great product if you want to just look super sun-kissed and glowy and bronze. I'd highly recommend checking it out. Don't be intimidated by it. It is a beautiful product. Another favorite that is definitely newer, I've only been using it for about the past week or so, is the Tarte Opening Act Mascara Primer. It's just a standard white mascara primer. It's got a pretty average wand, and I think it does have fibers in it. I can't fully tell. Honestly, every mascara primer I have tried, I've liked. I've also tried Dior and Lancome, and honestly, they all work really well for me. You guys know Tarte is my favorite brand though, so I was excited to try this out, and I'm happy I like it just as much. If you have naturally long lashes and everything like that, you might find a lash primer completely unnecessary, but if you're like me, I don't mind doing an extra step because it really does make a difference. Definitely adds a lot of length, and this one's really nice because I find when I go to apply my mascara over top of it, it still goes on really smoothly. Some lash primers do dry a little bit too much and it makes it a little bit hard. My next fave is something I already raved about in my like US beauty haul, but this is the new L'Oreal Foundation Blender Sponge. This is just so good. I had to talk about it again, you guys, especially for those of you who might have missed that haul. L'Oreal came out with 3 new foundation sponges, I believe, so I picked up this one. As you can see, it's kind of the most like traditional. The other ones are different shapes. This is just so good. It is the best affordable sponge I've ever tried. It is so close in texture to the Beauty Blender. Honestly, every other sponge I've tried I have not liked. Like I did not like the Real Technique sponge because, as I mentioned in my haul, it's just too flimsy to me. Depending on how much this costs Canadian, this might completely replace the Beauty Blender for me. And like I said in that video too, the one thing I don't like about it is it's not just like an egg, it's got that kind of curve to it, so it's a little bit awkward for the small areas around my eyes and nose because this is kind of like bulbous. But that's such a minor thing, and maybe I will try out some of the other different shape ones because they have ones that are more flat, I believe, that might be a little bit better for that. And my final kind of makeup favorite is the Maybelline Master Fix Setting Spray. I've had this kicking around for a while, but I just finally tried it this month and I've been using it non-stop while I've been home this month. I like this because it's a really fine mist, first of all. It's not like going to drench your face or anything. Kind of does everything I want in a setting spray. It takes away the powdery kind of feeling and feels kind of lightly hydrating on my skin without separating my makeup. But then I also do notice my makeup holds up a little bit better throughout the day. I think this is hands down my favorite drugstore setting spray that I've tried, so I'd recommend checking that one out if you want something more affordable. Now moving into my miscellaneous beauty favorites. First one, this is probably my top favorite of the entire month. This is the Fresh Black Tea Firming Overnight Mask, and this was sent to me because this product is definitely on the pricey side. And you guys, I probably never would have tried this, I'm not going to lie, if it hadn't been sent to me. I remember I worked at Sephora when this came out and I was just like, it's firming, it's anti-aging, I don't really need this. So it never even like crossed my mind to try this product. But I used this for the first time the night before we were flying out to Miami. And oh my god, you guys, I can't even explain how amazing this made my skin look. It is definitely thick and rich though, and it does feel and look quite oily on the skin, so it's not a product I would use every night by any means. I've been using it like once a week or so. First of all, the texture of this is really nice. It goes on as a thicker cream, but it really warms up in your fingers and on your skin, and it just kind of like melts. It just turns into like a really nice, like soft, buttery, oily balm type product. It feels really nice. I put this on at night though, and honestly, when I wake up, my skin is transformed. It is like pores who, uneven skin tone who, dryness who, like my skin looks so good. I can't even properly put it into words how amazing this makes my skin look, you guys. This just kept my skin in such great condition when traveling and like when getting back from the trip and everything, because my skin was definitely dehydrated. This product is just like extremely pricey though. I think it's something that is definitely worth the splurge, you guys. If you have the money to spend on a beautiful skincare product, I would highly recommend checking this out. Also, Fresh often does have like little value sets and things like that where you can get a smaller size. But yeah, this product is a game changer for sure. I have been so happy with how my skin has been looking, which you guys know that is such a big thing for me to say. Like a year ago, I did not think I would be saying that. So at the end of January, I finally caved and decided to try the infamous Loving Tan that everyone talks so highly about on social media. And let me tell you guys, the hype is real for this. Like, I fully understand why this is so popular. I got the 2 Hour Express Deluxe Bronzing Mousse in the shade Medium. I just apply this with my Tarte self-tanning mitt because that is what I have and it works really well. I have not gotten any streakiness or patchiness with this at all. It is so easy to apply and it really does develop in 2 hours. That's really all you need. And then you rinse off the guard color and you are good. It just gives you such a beautiful, deep, but also natural looking tan. It's got like a really nice, like warm, olivey kind of tone to it. It's really pretty on the skin. I also felt like this left my skin feeling very hydrated. My one complaint is that I feel like it doesn't last that long on my skin. Like, I definitely noticed it fade just from showering like once. So I wish it did last a little bit longer. Maybe that's something I'm doing though, because as I always say, I'm still a self-tanning novice. So if you guys have any tips to kind of like prolong it and keep it lasting a little bit longer, definitely let me know. I get this from friendsbeauty.com, which is like a beauty supply store. They have an online website and you can use the code SARI for 10% off your purchase, but everything is already discounted a little bit too. And then they do have a program called Friends with Benefits where you can get an additional 10% off. So really great to save some money. I also checked and the Canadian shipping isn't too bad either. By the way, that code is not like affiliated or anything like that, so I don't make any money from it, just so you guys know. And finally, I want to talk about the L'Oreal Air Dry Wave Swept Spray, which I also mentioned in my haul once again. I did pick this up in the States, so I don't know if we're going to get it in Canada, unfortunately, but this is just a leave-in spray that's meant to kind of enhance your hair's natural texture and give it some wave. You guys know my hair is so naturally straight. I always say it's like anti-texture. It is so smooth. It has no texture to it whatsoever, basically. And I was so surprised with how well this worked. I have tried so many different like sea salt sprays and things like that over the years because I love wearing my hair curly. I've always wanted like wavy hair or anything like that, even though I do really appreciate having straight hair because it's so easy. But I've tried a lot of products over the years and none of them have actually really given me texture. This one, on the other hand, really did. I really had like a nice wave added to my hair when I used this, and I love that. On the back it does say if hair is naturally straight after applying product, put hair in a braid to create soft waves. I was going to try that, but honestly I didn't even need to because it just gave me so much texture on its own. So I've been using this too when I'm going to be curling my hair. The one downside is since my hair is already prone to tangling, this does tend to make it a little bit tanglier. But it's worth it, especially if you're going on vacation and going somewhere tropical and you have really straight hair and you want to enhance your hair's texture when you're coming out of the water or anything like that. It's really nice to spray in and just kind of like scrunch it up and it'll give you really beautiful waves. That is it. Those are my favorites for the month of February. I do definitely have some like Disney related stuff and things like that, but I figured I would just save that for my Disney World haul instead of creating a bunch of overlap and talking about everything twice. And once again, everything I talked about in today's video will be linked in the description bar, but go follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I am at SariReanna on all three, and hit that subscribe button down below if you are new here, but I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye guys!